Hey everybody, this is Chris at Zenlark Reptiles. Thank you for joining me again on this Tuesday. Before we get started, don't forget that I have a giveaway, and I'm giving away a week from today. I did the video last Tuesday, and I'm waiting 2 weeks, so yeah, one more week to sign up. Anyways, before I get started, if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. What that notification bell does for you, keeps you in the loop of all my videos. I do videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and what it does is it gives you a notification to say, hey, I got a new video out. Also, if you guys wouldn't mind, hit that like button. If you guys get anything from these videos, all I ask is if you hit that like button, it really helps me out. So, today I'm trying to help people out. I get all kinds of questions throughout the week, and I try to answer them as fast as I can. I've had a few questions lately about humidity. There's people that have these snakes and they live in like very dry climates and having issues with humidity. Now, me personally, I know it's gonna be hard to believe, but I live in Washington, but I live in the dry, arid part of Washington. It's actually a desert here, and when people think of Washington, they think of snow, trees, and rain. Well, here in the central Washington, it's very dry. We have sagebrush, and that's about it. And I know it's like, again, it's hard to believe, but I have a problem with humidity. Now, our reptile friends in Florida and in Georgia, I was gonna say Texas, but Texas is kind of half dry, half humid. I used to live in Texas, but I lived in Houston mostly, and Houston was very humid. If you live in Arizona or Nevada or someplace that's very dry, this is gonna apply to you. So I'm gonna show you some things that will help you out. First of all, let's talk about what humidity needs you need. Let's look at it right here. Now, you have a goal about 55 to 60% humidity. Now, is that hard to keep? It is hard to keep unless you keep on top of it. I'll be honest, mine's not always there, but I try to keep it there by 80% of the time. But mostly it is, because about every week I go in there and I spray it down a little bit. I actually posted a Instagram, and they saw how wet my ReptiChip was, and they're asking, don't you have mold problem? I don't have mold problem here because it's such a dry climate. We don't have humidity here. It's always 10% or below most of the year. So also in my garage is even worse. So there's a couple things that you can do to make that humidity better for your whole reptile room. I'm gonna kind of show you some things that I've used or I do use still. So let's start with Substrate. Substrate can make a big difference of what you're using. So like if you live someplace like Florida, again, where it's humid, I have friends and family that live there, you won't have to have that problem. I mean, you can actually probably get away even with Aspen. I know people that use Aspen and use paper towels and do very well. Here, if I use paper towels, I will have stuck shed. I've had stuck shed in the past, because when I first started out, I'll be honest, I didn't quite know what I was doing. I kind of learned by doing, and I was reading and trying to figure things out, but I got my first ball pythons and I had some stuck sheds. I'm not gonna lie, I had an eyelid stuck shed and I couldn't figure out why, so I had to soak them and I had to rub it off her eye, and ever since I've had no problem with that. But when I first got them, I didn't understand this humidity thing. But I don't use Aspen at all, I don't use paper at all, and the reason is because of humidity issues here where I live. When you're keeping snakes, where you live in your environment really makes a difference of keeping reptiles. If you ever watch Camp Cannon, he has all his animals outside and he doesn't have any humidity problems because of where he lives. And actually he's kind of worried about some animals because there's too much humidity. So always where you live plays a big factor of what kind of needs your reptile will need. So there's three kinds of substrate I would recommend if you are having humidity problems. First of all, I'd say if you're just a pet owner and this is what, you have a couple snakes, I'd probably get Reptile Prime. Reptile Prime, out of all the ones I've tested, actually works the best. Now, the problem is it's not cost feasible. Like if you have a lot of snakes like I do, the benefit you get from Reptile Prime over others is not that much, but it's slightly better. Next down, I would actually say a ReptiChip. I have a bag of ReptiChip. That's what I use mostly. Hope you can see it because of glare. I use ReptiChip all the time. I always buy this. There's a guy here in town that sells it to me relatively cheap. I buy it in bulk. I usually at least buy 10 to 30 blocks at a time. So I always have it on hand. I have used another one called Prococo that worked really good. I have to say that the ReptiChip worked slightly better. Again, it goes Reptile Prime, ReptiChip, and Prococo. I've tested them all, but I mean, what I'm talking about is like just a scotch. So when I checked the Reptile Prime, it was slightly more humid after a week than the ReptiChip on down. So the Prococo holds it the least, but you know, you have to buy what you can get, especially if you have a lot of snakes like I do. I was buying Prococo because it was cheaper, but now that I have a rep here in town, I buy ReptiChip, and that's what I use constantly now. Now, if you have a really big problem, another thing you can do is, especially if you have lots of animals in your room, say you have a reptile room, is a humidifier. I have used a humidifier like during the summer months when it gets really hot here. We do get 100-degree plus temperature for months at a time here. So a lot of times I use a humidifier because it gets so dry in there. I'll show you a model that I personally use, but there's other ones out there that'll work. It's just that I got it on Amazon and it worked great for me. But this is only in extreme weather, or you're having, you know, like say you live in Arizona or something like that. Or, you know, I know actually I have a friend in Canada that uses one because it's very dry there. So again, it really helps to keep that room about 30% humidity. You don't want to go too much because you can start rotting the room. If you keep your room at 30% humidity, it's easier to keep the enclosures at a higher humidity. Another trick that I found out, especially for when snakes are shedding, is a humidity ball. I make these myself. Let me show you here. I get these on Amazon. The box came damaged, but it really don't hurt it. I got these from Amazon. They're slip-on socks. When you go to the shoe store, when I was a kid, we always went to the shoe store. We had to measure our feet. I don't see that happening very much anymore.
I hate my life. Can't eat, can't sleep, can't bury the wife in the backyard.
But women that used to, always wear pumps or flats, use these, and all it is, it's a try-on sock, so you're not barefoot. I got this idea in my head one time. Actually, Chris Hardwick used a little, I think it was some kind of like meshing, and I just thought I'd one-up them by using this. And I've shown this in other videos, but this works really well. I do have some Sphagnum Moss right here. I'm going to open this sock, grab a handful of Sphagnum Moss. So I got the Sphagnum Moss in the sock, and I tie it off. And all you gotta do is take this, soak in some water, squeeze it, and put it inside of your tub or your aquarium, whatever you're keeping your ball python in. This also works. I use this for my other animals that are shedding. I've even used it for some of my monitors. I've used this for leopard geckos, crested geckos, just to keep the humidity at a higher percentage, especially in the summer months. Humidity is very important, especially for snakes. Well, actually, I'll say this, because I even have tegus. It's really important for them because especially when they're babies, a lot of them, I've seen a lot of tegus that are missing toes. It's because whoever was keeping them didn't keep them humid. They have to have the humidity to shed correctly, and what it does is it cuts the circulation off their toes. So also my leopard geckos down there, I have a little spot. It's just a big part of the reptiles' needs. They have to shed properly, otherwise it can cause issues down the road and also even death. Like I said, I've learned from my mistakes. I've had, when I first started, I had some stuck sheds. I'm not gonna lie, I had some stuck eyeballs, and these are some of the things I've learned, and I hope they help you out. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining. Check out some other videos right here. If you would, also hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Anyways, guys, I love you. Later. Take care. Peace. Bye.